Now over here we have the basically procurement and engineering. So parts department, all sorts of crazy vehicles hiding in the corner waiting their turn under the surgeon's knives. And then a bunch of chassis that just came in from our buddies at Art Morrison. 5-axis VF4 super speed, Haas CNC, laser, electrical engineers, procurement dudes, and then the mechanical engineers we hide up in the top corner back there in the loft that you can't really see. Outside in this building's parking lot, you have where all of the Broncos are. I don't know if you can see them from this far, but I'm lazy. I'm not going to walk all out there. They're basically just a bunch of original Broncos with really good integrity that are waiting their turn to come in. This Bronco's kind of cool, and in fact, this one's coming up for sale here in the next couple of weeks. So this is one of the rarest versions that we call the Derelict Broncos. So it features the as found, no BS natural patina. And this one is really nice shape. We found it in Arizona. So this has all of the mechanical engineering that you'd find in my shiny Broncos, but all hidden under the radar. So it basically, you don't see it coming. Massive drivability and performance enhancements under the cloak of originality. And then of course the inside's all dolled up and designed in keeping with the original, but again, highly evolved from ergonomics to creature comforts and textiles and leather choices and the like. This truck's so much fun to drive, it's not even funny. And then we patinaed those new forged aluminum wheels and outfitted them with vintage Ford caps in keeping with that sort of sleeper vibe. Also redesigned the tire carrier because the stock ones are a complete disaster. They're usually on this side and they tear up the body and rattle like crazy. We like to keep the Ford logo visible. We integrate reverse camera, and then this design is braced, 3-axis brace to the chassis on a fluted and greasable shank with all machined hardware, and then we patina paint that new assembly so it hides. There's another Bronco just off the table, all fixtured and ready to rock. It's one of my earlier Icon models that we don't make anymore, but this is the CJ3B, super fun. Over here is a really exciting project. So this, if you guys are familiar with the brand, you may remember we did a 60s Kaiser Wagoneer a few years ago, and we don't like to repeat vehicles. So when another client wanted one of those, we talked him into the Cherokee 2-door, and we're having a lot of fun with this project. We're doing sort of a revisionist history take on it, in that we're taking elements from later models and elements from earlier models to basically build what we thought would be the sexiest version. Ta-da, there's our rendering. So we're adding the flares from the later generation, but we're using the nose from the earlier generation. And then I'll show you back in the showroom, but there were a lot of things about this that were trying to reference American Indian, but really didn't do a very good job of it, because even the graphic that's utilized on it is not even a Cherokee tribe graphic. So we had a blast doing research to figure that out, and really try and do something that's more in keeping with the tribal language. And the graphic we selected is super nifty. So those white bits are my design AC vents that are designed to reference the original front grille. Those are 3D printed samples, because right now we're in post-engineering CAD, but now physical reality mock fit, make sure everything's cool before we commit that to stainless steel and machine it. The full chassis has been placed in already. Now we're doing all the raw sheet metal work and stainless steel plumbing and all that fun stuff. Here's a really fun one. This is a Derelict Hudson that we built a while ago. So this Hudson is mostly original paint. It's running a dry sump, blown, intercooled LS9, 4-wheel independent suspension, rack and pinion, power steering, fun, high-end audio. But on the outside, we really tried to celebrate the patina and the originality and the sense of history. That's kind of the only giveaway on the Derelicts, of the badges that we put on them. We also always integrate one of the Icon lizards somewhere in the vehicle, and that'll move around depending on basically where the lizard feels is the best place to grab the sun. The inside on this one is just nuts. So this gorgeous steering wheel. So it's modeled from a laser scan of an original factory optional wheel, but then we rescaled it to reduce the diameter to really be more reasonable for modern function, and then fit it on a safer collapsible tilt column. All these knobs, all the switch gear, in fact this entire dash configuration has been massively reworked, again to keep it retro and vintage. So this like has this cool neon light up effect. So the face, the indices, the needles, the bezels are all stock, but then behind the scenes, the inner workings are all done by Shannon at Redline, one of our favorite gauge partners. So those are all circuit board driven, and even the stereo now, it's kind of fun. The volume excites your Bluetooth and controls volume, and that controls bass. And then beyond that, your tactile interface is vintage, but the audio quality is all digital sound processor controlled audio with focal speakers and stuff. These speaker grills are super nifty that we designed for this. I actually found them in an old 37 Lincoln Zephyr I owned many years ago. I found one in the trunk and just fell in love with them. So we kind of reverse engineered them and had those sand casts in aluminum here in LA. The opera lights and all the design language on this car is just exceptional. We also added in-dash AC, so like the controls and the directable vents, as well as all of these knobs, are all designed in keeping with the original design language, but obviously none of that functionality existed in the originals. I'm a big leathercraft geek and a fan of a lot of traditional processes, so this interior was a really fun one, where I get all this wild-caught American alligator in what they call crust form. So it's no pigments, no oils, but fully tanned. And then I hand dye and patina finish it. And then our friends at Moore and Giles handmade this leather for us to match the surface patina and color and character that we created within the alligator. This vehicle is built for a great client and friend who's going to enjoy it in Nashville. And the whole idea is he wanted to sort of blend in, be part of the culture, rockabilly fun with a good sense of humor. And I think we achieved that goal. It is a super cool ride. Now, a completely different sort of situation would be this three-door Suburban. Well, former three-door Suburban, because we engineered and built a fourth door, which we just found out recently why. Those never existed, because there was a trade dress argument, because International Harvester actually owned that body style trade dress right. So GM decided not to fight that battle and wait until the next gen, in which case they had fought that battle and they went to a full four-door proper design. So this one's just going to be an absolute beast. Four-wheel independent suspension, everything from the HRE wheels to the grills, to the knobs, to the switches, to the dash panels, to the center console, to the seat frames, grill, everything is redesigned and going to be executed one of one solely for this build. This is featuring a Tom Nelson 1100 horsepower and torque bi-turbo V8. It's just going to be a beast. And right now you'll see Adrian, safe for COVID protocol, and I'm away from him more, well, just about 6 feet. What he's doing is pre-fitting our 3D printed built to sample console that we designed for the vehicle to make sure in reality it really integrates and fits well. We're a little bit further down the line doing the same thing with some of the interior custom dash bits, so that stuff's all fit. And we do little things like this has 2 high power USB backlit, because who needs a cigarette lighter in this modern day, right? So this vehicle is going through sort of that last stage of mock fit to make sure everything's getting along well. The exterior body is predominantly stock, but you may notice the floors, the mini tubs, the wheel wells and everything have been completely redesigned. So there's all sorts of modern clearances and functionality, such as that access panel for the fuel pump, redone box for fuel fill, so it actually fills at a rate compliant with modern stuff. And we're going to hide the battery back there. A bunch of amplifiers and bass and stuff will be hiding throughout. And then this one's really cool. Pretty much just finished it. I'm going to be shooting a full-length video for my YouTube channel with it here later today. So this is a 1970 short bed Ford pickup. And this is one of the Icon reformers. So again, if you don't dig patina, here's the shiny version. So all the design work was done with respect to the original era of design and that design language. So while this is extensively modified, it is not going to be immediately apparent. So stuff like these custom badges on the quarters. We took the typeface and language from the original, but then subtly integrated our brand while keeping the original Ford reveal on the tailgate. The bed dimensionally is pretty stock. You have this sexy lighting, because that always annoys me in pickups when you don't have lighting. And then a heat-cured polyurea coating on the bed floor as well as the underside of the body. The body is also powder coated prior to final assembly and prior to final paint. Amp research lit side steps, custom designed door panels, again in keeping with the original design language but with elevated materials. So for example, this is now Relicate custom leather that we had made to match the surface grain and color of the original vinyl, but now the actual tactile experience is massively elevated. So gauges, you know, designed to look stock, but far from it. Again, we've repurposed the original AM radio and kept your interface direct with it, but it's actually powering digital sound processor, Bluetooth dependent audio. Right here is where the original little AC control panel would have gone, but we've now designed our own knobs and switches that have more design continuity with the original switches and position under the instrument panel, and thereby created a center and dash AC vent, because he's never had those. And then the speaker grills even are designed to like have that 70s funk and vibe, but executed in stainless steel and powder coated. Marine rate LED lighting for cabin. Carpet's kind of fun and funky, very 70s, but again elevated. Seat textiles, really neat. So the leather is again designed and made for us to look like the original parchment. And then the textiles are actually from high-end architectural furniture. So they're from a great brand called Maharam, intended for outdoor patio furniture, which is actually ideal because the wear characteristics, dry rub, UV, microbial, bacterial ratings are all far greater than what's deemed acceptable in the transportation sector. Power in this one comes via current production Mustang GT Coyote aluminum fuel injected 5-liter V8, and we're running an automatic tranny on this one to the Atlas 2 twin stick shift on the fly part-time 4-wheel drive transfer case, and Dana 60 rear axle, Fox Racing shocks, all Borla exhaust. It's super groovy, albeit it seems a little dark under here, so I'm gonna shut up and party on. Moving on, this is the low-tech fab area, so if it's not gonna be 3D printed or CNC, then it'll be a one-off item or fit check, and it'll be handled here. And in this area, most of our tooling is anywhere from about 1910 to 1980, with the exception of that high-definition plasma cable. My first brand was called TLC. This is the TLC section of the site where we do sales, service, parts, and restoration for vintage Toyota Land Cruisers. So the Icon version, however, is like this, where we basically want to stay loyal to the cosmetics and the main silhouette of the originals, but massively evolve them in their functionality. So we offer these in 4 different body styles, ranging from the classic FJ40 short wheelbase, such as this guy right here, through to one of our own designs, such as this beast right here, which is a 6-passenger 4-door version, and we refer to these as the FJ44, which you can see up here on the badging. And again, the lizard's always along for the ride on anything we build somewhere. In this case, he's up in the front. So these are rebodied in aluminum. They're built by a shipwright. They are Teflon polyester hybrid powder coated. We do that in 11 different colors. And in total, there are 4 different body styles offered. So we have this 44 larger 4-passenger situation. And then we have the 43, which is a long wheelbase 2-door. Then the 40 shorty and the 45 pickup. In the inside, again, this is new school. I don't have an old school here to show you, but kind of geeks for details. So, and we're totally against plastic, or at least I should say I am. So this is all machined aluminum, as are these, as are these, as are the pedals, parking brake handle situation, seat hardware, recline mechanisms, all of it. Then everything through to Chilowich textiles on the seating, stainless steel console with hidden cubby and power ports. All instrumentation is modern, but again with a very retro kind of vibe. These are super fun. These run the modern LS powertrains for the most part. We do offer them with diesels as well. I wish I had my electric 49 Merc to show to you, but kind of a sad story. It got invited to go to the Geneva Auto Show, and we were super honored and excited. So it got flown over there just for the show to get canceled, and it's been kind of quarantined in its own right ever since. So it lands back, the plane's finally landing here back in LA today, and we're super excited to get it. Up here's the showroom area. So this is a room that's really for design, where we go through all our different leathers and textiles and color palette plans with clients. This is a 1935 Auburn 653, a Gordon Burig masterpiece. This is waiting its turn to become a derelict, and it's going to be super, super cool. Look at this patina and the design language and the continuity of every single element within the design of this car is just phenomenal. And it's just magnificent. I'm really looking forward to it. 59 Mercedes Audenauer, looking forward to that one too. Although everyone who's wanted it has wanted to commission it as a reformer. But personally, I think the existing patina is just so stellar that I've actually turned down those buyers, because to me, the right buyer is going to appreciate the beautiful original cosmetics as they currently stand. So, what else? Here's my messy office. So I've got a lot of concept sketches of things that we want to do and haven't done yet. This is my watch I released last year based on the Duesenberg tachometer on the SJs. There's a flask that I'm dying to make. A couple other watch ideas, different car concepts I want to do, variations of ones, and then I'm a massive collector and geek for anything vintage automotive. So a bunch of cool models I got at the Petersen, all sorts of vintage automotive art, models, clutter, basically, as my wife calls it. And there you go. There's a tour of Icon. I really hope you guys are able to keep your heads healthy during all this, and of course your bodies. Please be kind, tip abundantly. People are really hurting right now, so if you can afford to help out, from a tip to a charity to donating your time, please do so, and stay creative. There's some great opportunities in this downtime to really engage with your creative side, and I can tell you, at least from my experience, it's good for the heart and soul. Be well. Thanks for your time.